Welcome to Zoe Stories. They said it was a modeling gig. Now I'm the face of a Girlswear brand. My name is Ryan Malik, and up until 3 weeks ago, I worked quietly as a freelance graphic designer, mostly for my apartment in downtown Chicago. My world was minimal, controlled, and far from dramatic. I had a girlfriend named Bella, a small but steady list of clients, and a closet full of dark jeans and plain t-shirts. Nothing about me screamed risk-taker or spotlight lover. If you told me back then that I'd soon become the face of a girlswear fashion brand, I'd have laughed, checked my schedule, and gone back to photoshopping makeup ads. But everything changed with a single DM. Let me back up. Bella and I had been dating for about a year. She was smart, confident, and passionate about fashion marketing. That was her world: photo shoots, Instagram influencers, PR packages, and viral campaigns. She loved chaos, while I preferred quiet routines. We were opposites, and yet it worked. Or at least I thought it did. Our apartment was small, but it felt like home. Bella filled the space with beauty, magazines stacked in stylish piles, half-open garment bags on chairs, and vanity kits bursting with colors I never learned the names of. I usually kept to my side of the desk and let her world spin around me. But recently, there had been tension. She was always busy, always whispering on the phone late at night, and always locking her iPad screen when I walked in. I assumed she was just overwhelmed with a new campaign. I didn't ask questions. And then the message came. It was from a woman named Marla Vincent, owner of a new girlswear fashion label called Velvet Bloom. She had found my profile through a branding project I did for a local cosmetics company. Hi, Ryan. I'm working on a bold new fashion campaign and looking for someone with a specific aesthetic. Your face structure, soft features, and proportions are exactly what we're seeking for a modern twist on femininity. Are you open to modeling? I laughed at first.
Me?
Modeling? For a girlswear line? I read it 3 times just to be sure it wasn't a joke. But no, she was serious.
And curious.
She added, it's experimental. Think androgynous runway. It's high fashion, gender fluid, very now. The pay's good. You'll be anonymous in the early tests. Just a fitting and a few closed-door photo shoots. I hesitated. It sounded weird. Dangerous even. But also intriguing. You see, there was something I hadn't told Bella. Or anyone. Late at night, when she was away or working late, I'd sometimes open her wardrobe, not out of disrespect, but fascination. Her clothes had a softness, a precision, a color harmony that my own never did. I never wore anything publicly, but I'd stood in front of the mirror more than once in a dress shirt or slipped on a pair of heels just to understand the feeling. Not for arousal. For identity. For curiosity. So when this modeling opportunity came, I didn't say no. I just asked, will I be photographed with makeup? Hair? Clothes? Marla replied,
Yes.
but tastefully. Nothing inappropriate. This is high-concept fashion. Feminine but elevated. Think soft lighting, pastel blazers, fitted skirts, silk blouses, delicate heels. We want grace. I could feel my heart pounding as I read those words.
Grace.
Something I had never been called. I justified it to myself as just trying something new. Besides, she'd been so distant lately, so absorbed in her work. I figured, maybe I needed my own secret. So the following Thursday, I slipped out for the fitting, telling Bella I had an emergency client meeting. The studio was surprisingly small but beautiful. White walls, racks of delicate, high-end clothes, a makeup chair facing a huge mirror, and an aura of feminine elegance. Marla greeted me like she already knew me. She studied my face, smiled, and said, "You're going to be perfect." She called in a stylist, a quiet man named Jules, who tilted his head at me and started working. He examined my face like it was a canvas, measured my waist, held up a baby pink blouse with pearl buttons. Soft tones will make your eyes pop. We'll blend the cheekbones to give you lift. Don't worry, we'll go slow. I nodded, trying not to show the anxiety curling in my stomach. And yet underneath that anxiety was something else. A quiet flutter of anticipation. When I looked at myself in the mirror, Mid-transformation, I barely recognized the man staring back. Foundation smoothed out my skin tone, blush lifted my cheekbones, eyeliner made my eyes almost glow. A long auburn wig cascaded down to my shoulders. Then came the outfit, blush pink blouse tucked into a fitted beige pencil skirt. Nude pantyhose. Kitten heels. Jules adjusted the necklace and stepped back. "Perfect," he said, voice almost reverent. "You're not playing a role. You are her." I stared at my reflection, unable to look away. I didn't feel like Ryan anymore. I felt elegant.
Seen. Alive.
And then Marla spoke the words that changed everything. "These test shots are so good. I'm going to pitch you as our lead model. You have a rare softness. The brand needs that. We'll use a pseudonym. You'll be our secret weapon. If this works, you're going to be famous." I returned home before Bella did. My heart was still racing as I stepped into our apartment, still smelling faintly of rose-scented setting spray. My lips had been wiped clean, but I could still feel the ghost of the matte lipstick clinging to them. My skin was smoother than usual, the foundation refusing to leave completely no matter how many times I scrubbed in the studio bathroom. My legs itched under my jeans, remnants of the pantyhose that had been peeled off only minutes ago. It wasn't just the clothes I'd left behind. It was a version of myself I'd never known existed. As I tossed my bag on the couch and collapsed into the cushions, I kept replaying the final photo in my head, the one where Marla tilted my chin up and whispered, "You're not pretending, you're revealing." What did that mean? I wasn't pretending, was I? The front door clicked. Bella walked in, coat hanging off her shoulder, tote bag filled with press packets. Her lips were tight, and she was clearly exhausted. I stood up quickly, nervous. "Hey," I said casually. She dropped her things and sighed.
"Hey.
"You order dinner?" Not yet. Wasn't sure if you wanted Thai or pizza." Bella gave me a faint smile, but her eyes didn't meet mine. "Anything's fine," she mumbled, walking past me into the kitchen. She opened the fridge, scanned for something she wouldn't eat, and shut it again. I watched her move, familiar and yet distant. It hit me then, Bella, standing there in her messy bun, oversized hoodie, leggings, and smudged mascara, looked more like Ryan than I did at that moment. I hadn't said a word about my modeling gig. I wasn't even sure how I'd bring it up. "Hey babe, funny story. Someone hired me to be the anonymous face of a Girlswear campaign, and I looked disturbingly good in their clothes."
Yeah. No.
That night, she fell asleep early. I lay next to her, eyes open in the dark, my thoughts louder than the city noise outside. I'd agreed to one photo shoot. But Marla had already emailed me. "The whole team is obsessed. We're planning the launch shoot next week. Full editorial. You in?" I stared at the message, thumb hovering over the screen. My heart said yes. My gut whispered, "You're in trouble." Next day, studio again. I told Bella I was helping a friend with branding advice. She nodded absently, scrolling through TikTok. The second photo shoot was longer, more elaborate. This time, Jules gave me a whole persona, Lyra. Lyra wore peach-toned bodycon dresses, sheer tights, platform heels, and a chunky lavender coat. My hair was styled into big, soft curls. False lashes fluttered like butterfly wings. But more than the makeup and clothes, something else changed. My posture. My voice. The way I moved. I had started mimicking the poses Jules showed me, but gradually, they became mine. Natural. Unconscious. When I spoke, it was softer. When I smiled, it was delicate. I wasn't acting anymore. And when Marla brought over a mirror, I stared at Lyra for a long time. She stared back. Confident. Elegant. Whole. That night, Bella watched me more closely. "You've been acting weird lately," she said, leaning on the kitchen island while I awkwardly stirred pasta. "Weird how?" I deflected. "You're distant. Like, you're hiding something." I froze for half a second. Then I laughed it off. "Just stressed about some client projects." She didn't look convinced. "I don't like secrets, Ryan," she said quietly. "Especially when I can feel them in the room." I nodded, but said nothing. If she knew, what would she think? Would she laugh?
Cry?
Leave? Marla went all in. 5 outfits. Studio lighting. Makeup team. A videographer. I was given a silk blouse with balloon sleeves, a pleated plaid mini skirt, and over-the-knee boots. Then a flowing peach dress with ruffled shoulders. Then a business casual look, soft lilac blazer over a lace camisole. I didn't recognize myself anymore. But I wasn't scared. I was addicted. Lyra, darling, look over the shoulder. Yes, just like that. Beautiful, babe. You're giving us glamour with a hint of mystery. I smiled on cue, moved with grace, and let myself melt into the lens. After the shoot, Jules pulled me aside. You ever modeled before? He asked.
No, I said.
Well, you should. You've got it. You don't just wear the clothes. You become them. That line stuck with me all the way home. Back at the apartment, I showered 3 times. Still felt like Lyra. And for the first time, I didn't mind. But then came the problem. I walked into our bedroom, and Bella was holding something in her hands. One of the campaign's branded velvet chokers. The one with the gold V tag, Velvet Bloom's logo. I had forgotten it in my pocket. She looked up at me, expression unreadable. What's this? My heart slammed against my ribs. I scrambled for a lie. Anything. A prop for a project? One of my clients is doing a rebrand. Bella didn't say anything. She stared at it a second longer, then tossed it onto the dresser. You're acting different, she murmured. I don't know if I like it. I stood frozen in the doorway, pretending everything was okay. But deep inside, panic swirled like perfume on my skin. By the following week, I was back at the studio twice, once for a video shoot and once for fittings for the launch campaign. The brand had moved quickly. They wanted posters, social clips, magazine covers. Apparently, the test images had gone viral in a few closed fashion circles. Everyone was talking about Lyra. And no one, not Marla, not Jules, not the photographers, knew the truth. That Lyra wasn't a girl. She was a guy named Ryan, who once lived a quiet life designing beauty ads and eating leftover Chinese food with his girlfriend. But Bella, she was watching me. She didn't say much anymore, but her glances lingered longer. Her silences stretched wider. She'd ask things like, "You've been out a lot lately, what's the project again?"
Or,
"Why are your phone notifications always on silent now?" I had answers. Too many answers. And that's what made it worse. One evening, as I got home late from a shoot, wig off but eyes still faintly lined with shimmer, I opened the front door and almost bumped into our neighbor, Tara. She was young, talkative, and way too curious. Always smiling, always watching. "Hey, stranger," she said, eyeing me from head to toe. "Didn't know you were into glam events." I froze. "What?" She pointed at the small pink bag I hadn't realized I was still holding. Velvet Bloom. I quickly tucked it under my arm.
Oh.
Prop samples. For a design gig. She raised an eyebrow. "Sure doesn't look like client work." "That's a high-end bag, Ryan." I faked a smile. "Big client." She smirked and backed away. "Well, you look different these days. Glowy." The word hit like a splash of cold water.
Glowy.
Inside, I stared at myself in the bathroom mirror. Even scrubbed clean, something lingered, something softer in the eyes. A faint shimmer on the cheekbones. A curve to the lips that hadn't been there before. Bella knocked on the door. "Can I come in?" I quickly turned the faucet on. 1 SEC. I shoved the makeup bag into the laundry basket under towels, sprayed cologne twice to mask the setting spray scent, and flushed the toilet for realism. When I stepped out, Bella was waiting with her arms crossed. "Did you get a haircut or something?" "No, why?" "You just look different. Like you're glowing." That word again. Later that night, as she scrolled on her iPad and I pretended to work, I saw her pause suddenly.
She zoomed in on something.
Her eyes narrowed. I tilted my head. "What is it?" She angled the screen away. "Nothing." But I saw the corner of the image, a familiar pleated skirt and powder pink blazer. A promo shot. From the Velvet Bloom campaign. My chest tightened. "Is that for work?" I asked casually. She hesitated.
No.
It just popped up on one of the beauty influencer pages. Weird styling. Very delicate. I stayed silent, pretending to return to my email. My photo was out there, and Bella was this close to finding me in it. Back at the studio, the transformation only deepened. The team brought in heels. Not little ones, 5-inch stilettos in soft beige, glossy black, and even one pair in glittery pink. You've got the ankles for them, Jules whispered as he strapped one on. Lyra's got a strut. I wobbled, then adjusted. With each step, I felt a strange kind of confidence surge through me. The heels forced me to move with grace. The skirt clung to me in a way that made every motion feel intentional. The blouse hugged my chest with just enough shape to make me forget I was ever flat. A mirror on the far end caught my full figure as I walked. I didn't see Ryan anymore. Only Lyra. Later that shoot, Marla approached me with an envelope. Advance bonus, she smiled. You're the face now. Every campaign, every story, every launch. We'll scale this. I opened the envelope. $5,000. I blinked. Is this for real? You earned it. And we're only just starting. I thanked her, but my voice shook. That night, I sat alone in the living room, staring at the envelope. Bella was asleep in the bedroom. I could hear her breathing through the cracked door. Peaceful. Oblivious. And here I was, lying, hiding makeup wipes in my backpack, dodging questions and walking a tightrope I couldn't come down from. Was I betraying her? Was this cheating? A few days later, the final campaign photos dropped publicly. Bella didn't say anything for 2 days. Then one morning over coffee, she handed me her phone without a word. I looked. There she was, Lyra, in all her glory, on a fashion blog homepage. Full screen. Blowing a kiss at the camera in a pleated blue skirt and thigh-high boots. Underneath, the headline read, Velvet Bloom's Mystery Muse. Who is she? And why can't we stop watching her? I swallowed. Bella didn't blink. She looks familiar. Silence. The mug shook slightly in my hand. She has your smile, Bella added. I forced a laugh. Weird coincidence. But I saw it in her eyes.
She knew something.
She just hadn't figured it out yet. 3 days passed in a fragile kind of silence. Bella wasn't asking questions anymore. She was watching. Every move I made. Every glance. Every odd item in the laundry. She didn't accuse, didn't fight. That terrified me more than shouting ever could. When I came home from the latest photo shoot, hair still pressed from the wig cap, skin glowing under residual highlight, Bella barely looked up from her laptop. Dinner's in the fridge, she murmured. She didn't ask where I'd been. I didn't offer an answer. The next morning, I opened our shared closet and paused. Hanging there, front and center, was a lavender blouse. Not Bella's.
Mine.
From the shoot. The one with pearl buttons and a soft bow at the neck. It hadn't been here yesterday. My heart dropped. I glanced around. Bella's keys were gone. She must have already left for work. On the dresser sat a folded note. Thought you might want to wear something that feels like you.
E.
I sat on the bed for 5 straight minutes, staring at the blouse. My fingers trembled as I touched the fabric. She knew. She hadn't said the words, but she knew. And worse, she was giving me a choice. That night, a courier arrived while I was alone. Unmarked box. No return address. I sliced it open carefully. Inside were 3 new outfits, clearly from the studio. One was a pale blue floral dress with puffed sleeves. Another was a pencil skirt and blouse set. The third, a shimmering pink evening gown. At the very bottom of the box, a pair of nude pumps with gold soles and a sealed envelope that read, Next shoot is private. One-on-one editorial. Full glam. Think evening elegance. We want Lyra to shine. I shoved everything back in the box, just as I heard Bella's keys at the door. She stepped in, dropped her tote, and blinked at the open package. What's that? Client merch. I lied too quickly. Promotional stuff. She nodded slowly, but her eyes went to the gold soles peeking out from the paper. She didn't say a word. That night, I couldn't sleep. I waited until Bella dozed off. Then, slowly, I got up and opened the box again. One by one, I removed the contents. I pulled the pink gown from its wrapping and held it against my chest. The fabric slid like water between my fingers. I walked to the bathroom, turned on the lights, and stared into the mirror. I looked exhausted,
Confused.
but beneath all that, I saw the shape of her trying to come out. Then I dressed. The gown fit like it had been sewn onto my skin. I pulled my hair back, dabbed concealer under my eyes, and added the faintest touch of gloss from Bella's vanity. When I stepped back from the mirror, Lyra was there again. Even without the heels, the lashes, or the wig, she was there. Not just a character. Not just a photo shoot identity. A part of me. A truth I'd been too scared to name. And then, I cried. Not because I felt ashamed. Not because I was afraid. But because for the first time in years I felt seen. Not by anyone else. By me. The next morning, I was folding the gown carefully back into the box when Bella walked in. She didn't flinch.
She didn't yell.
She just looked at the dress in my hands, then at me. Softly, she said, "Do you want to talk about it?" I stood frozen, the fabric still warm from my skin. She stepped closer. "I saw the blog. I recognized your jawline before I even read the comments." I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. She smiled sadly. "It's okay, Ryan."
Or,
"Lyra." I dropped my gaze. I didn't mean to lie. Once I started, I didn't know how to stop. She nodded. "I get it. Sort of." I finally met her eyes. "Are you mad?" Bella exhaled. "A little. Mostly because you hid something that clearly means a lot to you. I don't know what this is for you yet, if it's modeling, if it's identity, or something in between. But I'm not going to be the villain in your story." She reached out and took my hand. "I just want the truth." Later that evening, I sat in the living room, the box of clothes still beside me, and opened my phone. Marla had sent the next assignment. A live showcase. No masks. No editing. Just Lyra. Walking. Speaking. Presenting the new line to a small, elite audience. She wrote, "You've become the brand. They don't want a mystery anymore. They want her. Are you ready?" I stared at the message. My heart pounded again, but not with fear this time. With something else. Possibility. I was sitting by the window, looking out at the garden, the same place where the prank had started. A week had passed since the festival, and every moment since then had been filled with confusion, conflict, and change. My long hair was now styled in soft waves. My nails were painted a pale pink. I was wearing a simple tank top and high-waisted jeans, but they hugged my body in ways I never thought I'd be comfortable with. And yet, I didn't feel out of place anymore. That was the scariest part. "I look like a girl," I whispered to my reflection in the glass. "I am a girl right now." At first, I kept telling myself it was just makeup. Just clothes. Just a prank. But the truth was deeper than that. Every time I saw Zara, every time she touched my hand or complimented my style, or asked me to walk beside her like we were girlfriends, I felt wanted. Admired.
seen.
And every time I looked in the mirror and saw a pretty girl staring back, my heart no longer recoiled in panic. It fluttered. I didn't know what that meant, not yet. But I knew I wasn't the same boy I was a month ago. That evening, I found Zara on the rooftop, scrolling through her phone. She looked up and smiled, genuinely, not teasingly. "Hey, you look really nice today," she said softly. I sat beside her, my heart thudding. "Zara, why did you really do it?"
She looked surprised.
"What do you mean?" "The prank. The challenge. Turning me into your girlfriend. Was it just for views? Was it just a joke to you?" She was silent for a while. Then she looked at me, eyes shining with something close to guilt. "At first, yeah, it was a prank. I wanted to get back at you for ignoring me, showing off in school. I thought it'd be funny. But when I saw how you handled it, how gracefully you adapted, something changed. I saw a version of you I never knew existed.
Sweet.
Caring. Brave." She looked away. "And I started falling for that version. For you." The words hit me like a wave. I didn't know if I wanted to cry, run away, or hug her. I don't know who I am anymore, I whispered. You made me into this girl, and now I don't know if I can go back. You don't have to decide now, Zara said, placing her hand over mine. You've already proven that you can be anything, anyone you want. You're beautiful inside and out. And I'm here, no matter who you choose to be. The videos Zara posted had gone viral. Millions of views. The comments were a mixed bag, some supportive, some cruel, but the overwhelming response was fascination. People admired my transformation. Some called me brave. Others called me fake. But I had stopped caring about the noise. What mattered was the way I felt walking down the street in heels, not because someone forced me to, but because I chose to. What mattered was Zara holding my hand in public. What mattered was how real it all felt now. Just when I thought I had figured it all out, life threw another curveball. One night, Zara's older cousin, Ariba, visited us unexpectedly. She was a social media manager in Dubai and had apparently been the one coaching Zara behind the scenes on how to make the prank go viral. You seriously pulled off the ultimate prank-to-love arc, Ariba laughed as we all sat in the living room. But you didn't tell him the real reason we chose him? I looked at Zara, confused. What's she talking about? Zara's face paled. Zara? I asked again, heart sinking. She bit her lip and finally admitted it. We originally chose you because Ariba wanted to test if a complete gender transformation arc could go viral. She wanted to prove that even a normal guy could become a viral beauty with the right guidance. You used me for a social experiment? I choked out. No, she said quickly, grabbing my hands. It started that way. But it changed. I changed. You changed. I fell in love with you, the real you. I pulled back, dizzy. So all of it, every makeover, every sweet word was planned? Zara was crying now. Not after the first week. I swear. After that, I was just falling for you. Watching you become this strong, beautiful girl, it wasn't a game anymore. I stood up. I need time to think. I left that night, staying at my cousin's place. For days, I didn't answer Zara's texts or calls. Was everything I'd felt a lie? Or was the lie how I'd ignored this part of me all along? In the mirror, I still saw her, the version of me with soft lips, long lashes, smooth curves. And I didn't hate her. I miss Zara. But more than that, I missed the me I had become with her. 2 months later, I walked into the cafe, wearing a soft beige sweater dress, matching boots, and light makeup. Heads turned, but not in judgment. In admiration. Zara was already there, looking nervous. I didn't know if you'd come, she said. I smiled. I didn't know if I'd want to come. But I do. Do you hate me? She asked quietly. I shook my head.
No.
You showed me something I never had the courage to explore. I hated how it started, but I love how it changed me. Her eyes welled with hope. So, what now? I leaned in, kissed her on the cheek, and whispered. Now your prank has a girlfriend for real.